Hey, that hill gets steeper every year. And I'm getting slower than a three-legged turtle with a hernia. But while I drag myself home, somebody nice will introduce the session.
Hello and welcome to another broadcast, courtesy of BehaviorAdvisor.com. Hi, I'm Dr. Razel Solo. In this multiple-part broadcast, Dr. Tom McIntyre presents a model that explains why it is that some individuals become masterful teachers of students with emotional and behavioral disorders, while others are ineffective or counterproductive in their efforts to reach and teach these youngsters. Using this model as a compass, he then guides us to the path that leads to the pinnacle of our profession, helping youngsters who are farthest from the educational dream reach their academic, social, and behavioral potentials. Now, Dr. Mack.
Whether you're in the general ed classroom or teaching in a self-contained classroom full of kids labeled as being emotionally and behaviorally challenged, how well you manage behavior is crucial to your success as a teacher. It affects how your administrators, your colleagues, your kids, their parents, and you perceive your effectiveness as a teacher. Problems managing the behavior of the classroom is the number one reason that administrators fail to rehire teachers or award them tenure. It's the number one reason that teachers leave the field. It's the number one reason that a lot of you fine folks here today are at great risk for becoming the mean, ornery, cantankerous teachers that you hated as a kid. Your classroom is a blank canvas. Many of your kids are bent on creating a Jackson Pollard. Impulsive wads of color thrown in an emotional frenzy, wild, uninhibited strokes of energy, with displays that are difficult to discern their purpose and their message. We want to create Rembrandts, precise, thoughtful, purposeful, recognizable representations of what it is that we cherish in life, perhaps softened a bit. But to become a master in the art of behavior management, positive, respectful, effective behavior management, requires picking up those necessary skills, starting first of all with paint by numbers, and then moving to a point where we're able to create our own personalized, highly skilled reflection of what it is that we hope to attain in our classrooms. Now, why isn't this happening more often? The main reason is that most teachers are sent out into the field with absolutely no training in the area of positive, respectful, effective behavior management. Because so few teachers are knowledgeable in this area, a well-run, smile-laden classroom is attributed to the teacher having the gift. Where a non-directed, disorganized, low-achievement classroom, well, I guess that teacher got left off the gift list. Truth is, we make our own gift. For those of you who are working with kids who have severe behavioral, emotional, mental health challenges, we have the lowest certification rates of any area in education. Most of the folks working with our youngsters do not have the training necessary to work effectively with them. When we have not received the appropriate training for working with kids who are troubled and troubling, we're likely to base our educational practices on misguided folklore. Keep them under your thumb. Let them know who's boss. Don't smile until, that's right, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, one of the winter holidays. Or on the other hand, teachers have been told, if you base your lessons on a strong curriculum, the kids will sit there with their hands folded and say, "Teacher, tell me more." Now certainly that helps, but we need more than that if we are going to have a long and rewarding career of educating young minds. We lose so many people in our profession. Sadly, a great many of those who remain in the classroom are not making the difference they had hoped to make. They are not as satisfied, they are not as successful as they had hoped to be due to their lack of skill in effective and positive behavior management. And that lack of skill in managing students' behavior creates a gap between the master teacher that we all saw ourselves becoming someday when we were going through teacher training and where we find ourselves now. Indeed, if we are making progress, we feel good. I'm going to get there. I'm going to reach the summit. I am going to reach the peak of teaching. Unfortunately, a lot of folks are mired down in the mud. And when we're not making that progress toward that ultimate goal, we oftentimes try to protect our personal and professional sense of self by striking out at those who are making us feel small, who are making us feel inadequate. We blame the kids. When if we want to find out who to blame, we should be looking in the mirror. We need to change. It is through changing our behavioral patterns that we change the kids' behavior patterns. When we don't have the training to do our job well, we oftentimes turn to the dark side. How is it that teachers pledged to serve these kids, dedicated to serve them when they enter the classroom, now view these kids as being the enemy? How did their professional sense of self change? Their mission change? There's a model for explaining it. I'd like to share it with you.
Here we see the diagram that will be explained more fully in the upcoming segments of this multi-part podcast regarding how we become masterful teachers of kids with emotional and behavioral disorders.